Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome here to the Atlanta Motor Speedway as we're getting set for qualifying. We're going qualifying first up and pole day qualifying for this afternoon's race here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, the third to last race of season 4 of the NR 2003 Red Bull GT Series. As Matthew Hubert is the first car out onto the track. As Matthew Hubert just trying to finish what has been a very struggling season for the 15 team. He will be back next season. Of course, we're coming off our race weekend last week at South Boston, our last short track race. As Matthew Hubert is the first driver to take time. As he's reaching nearly 200 miles an hour entering turn number 3. And here he comes off of turn number 4. And Hubert's lap is a 28.152. So Matthew Hubert, and now Timo Mauser, set his time 28.116. There's RB Gardner in the number 7. RB Gardner is 49th in the points. Just trying to finish his season as best as he can. And we'll see what his first lap time will be, 28.134, currently the slowest. Luna Farmer, Tico Jubiaca coming out on the track. There's Nathan Orman, 4th quickest. Orman's 52nd in the points. Of course, he can't win the championship, but he's just trying to finish what has been a interesting season for the 4. Been replacing the now banned Jared Johnson for the rest of the season. And here's a new driver in the number 8 car. Courtney Lynn, who's been really struggling trying to make races this season, as it's a 28.001. It's been a difficult season for Courtney Lynn. No longer the driver. Jordan Hitchcock is attempting to make his Red Bull GT Series debut. He will be in this car for the rest of the season. He'll be full-time in this series in season 5. So that's good for him, as my charger fell off came undone on my phone for some reason. My phone's being stupid as far as my charger is concerned. He is currently 6th quickest in that ride. And there's his team owner, Danny Johnson, who will be back in this ride next season. Of course, if Danny Johnson makes the race, he would be ineligible for the Rookie of the Year honors, because you would need to make less than 7 starts to be eligible for the Rookie of the Year honors. Luna Farmer, the slowest in this session, she'll be full-time next season, replacing Tico Jumiak in the 33, who's 12th quickest. Well, as soon as I say that, 4th quickest. Jordan Hitchcock got bumped. Ingrid Pollard in the 45. Final 3 races, she'll be in that 45. Currently 10th quickest. Monica Towns, currently the slowest in this session. There's Matthew Hubert. Davis Santi, 3rd quickest. Lizette Armstrong is the fastest here in this Go Go Home session. Lizette Armstrong will be back in that number 2 machine next season. She is 39th in the points table, by the way, Lizette Armstrong. She's failed to qualify for a number of races, and when she has qualified, it hasn't been good results. Sam Tenney, who will not be back in this ride next season. Currently 8th quickest, as he's trying to find some speed. Brooke Packett, she will be back next season. Timo Mauser, the slowest in this session. Nathan Orman. And there's Ricky Jordan Hitchcock. Jordan's on the verge of having another DNQ for the 8, and it'll be his first DNQ as he's looking to attempt to qualify the final 3 races in place of Courtney Lynn. Juliaka's 6th quickest. On the bubble is RB Gardner, who's 7th quickest. There he is, just coming out of pit road. There are the drivers on the outside looking in. We will not see Courtney Lynn until the Oreo Cup Series, which will be starting at the end of the month. As we're down to under 4 minutes to go in the session. I know Davis Santi will not be back next season. Right now we have, as of this recording, 38 confirmed drivers for the Red Bull GT Series starting in Season 5. And as I said before, and I'll say it again, I do not know when I will start Season 5. It's going to depend how long I'm going to take to get Oreo Cup Series stuff finished up. So just giving you guys a little heads up. Right now, my goal is just to finish the Season 4 Red Bull GT Series, go on a very long break, and then I will give you guys a date on when I will start recording Season number 5. It could take a little longer, but that's because, I just want to have a very long off season for the Red Bull GT Series, so that way, because we had a bit of a short off season for this series because we went straight from Season 3 to Season 4, and I do want a very long off season for them, so that way these cars can be ready to go for Season 5, which, by the way, I have not made the schedule for Season 5 just yet. Down to 2 minutes to go in the session. Next week is the penultimate race at Kansas, and then our season finale at Homestead. And then all the drivers will be enjoying their off season, with the exception of Courtney Lynn, Lizette Armstrong, just to name a few, because we have the Oreo Cup Series season starting up before too long. Sam Tenney, and he does not improve. And we're looking at some drivers who unfortunately could fail to qualify for this race. Right now, the drivers who look like they're going to make the show as we're down to 30 seconds to go here in GOGH qualifying. This is, by the way, round 1 of 2 for qualifying. We will have the 35 other drivers that are in the garage area, as they're already finished going through tech inspection. They're going to get pushed out onto the grid during the break in between round 1 and round 2. 3, 2, 1. That is basically it. We'll see if lap times are going to improve or if this is going to be the way the grid's going to go. Tico will make his 8th start, more than likely, if this stands. No improvement for Sam Tenney, and looks like he's not going to make the show, which is a shame. And I believe nobody has really improved their time as a result. So, this is the 7 drivers that have made the show this week here in Atlanta. They are Lizette Armstrong. Definitely good for her because it's been a difficult season for her. Matthew Hubert, David Santi, Luna Farmer, Brooke Packett, Tico Jumiaka, and RB Gardner will get the final transfer spot into this afternoon's race. They will join the other 35 drivers for round 2 of qualifying. Unfortunately, the drivers who will not make this week's race at Atlanta and will have to try again at our final 2 races, they are Sam Tenney, Danny Johnson, Jordan Hitchcock, his first DNQ, Nathan Orman, Ingrid Pollard, Monica Towns, and Timo Mauser. Those 7 drivers, unfortunately for them, will not race this afternoon. So a tough break for those 7. They will try again at our next race. That will be at Kansas next week. We're going to take a commercial break, get the other 35 drivers on track for round 2 of qualifying, as we'll be back to Atlanta Motor Speedway after these messages and a word from our Blue Hedgehog TV studios. You're watching Red Bull GT Series qualifying on the Blue Hedgehog TV. And welcome back, everybody, to the Atlanta Motor Speedway, as we're now ready for pole day qualifying for this afternoon's race for the Red Bull GT Series. That will be live at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're not running the Super Speedway version of Atlanta. We're running the regular mile-and-a-half Atlanta Motor Speedway, as the 42 cars are now coming out onto the pit road grid, as we've already started round 2 of qualifying. Round 1, of course, was GOGH qualifying. Round 2 is always going to be the full 42 drivers here today. As we are waiting for the first car to come out on track, let's give you an opportunity to take you through the what has happened so far as the points are concerned. And it looks like we already got our first driver out on the track. It's the number 88 of Reagan Whitlock. Reagan Whitlock will not be back in this ride, as he will be gone after the final 2 races of the season. Reagan Whitlock comes in this race 34th in the points table. Cannot win the championship. It's been a tough season for him. 1 top 5, 3 top 10s, 1 pole. He's led 16 laps this season, as he puts a 42.536. That's because his pit stall was behind the start-finish line, so this will be his first official time lap. It's been a tough season for him. It's been a tough season for a lot of drivers who unfortunately cannot win the championship, which is a shame, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. First official lap, 27.927 for that Dodge Viper of Reagan Whitlock. There's Henrietta Fitzwater. There's Alexander Underwood, who is now 2nd in the points after last week's race at South Boston. Looking at Ponzo Albanese, who dropped 4 spots down to 8th in the points. Tico Jumiaka raced his way in. Ponzo Albanese in the 12. There's Andrew Williams, who's in that 35th in the standings, that critical 35th in the standings. There is no word about Andrew Williams, if he is returning to the Red Bull GT Series or not. I have not heard if he is returning. We'll have to wait and see as far as that is concerned. Forgot to mention Ponzo Albanese, the newly crowned Winston Cup champion, by the way. He will enter Season 2 as the defending Winston Cup champion. Jessie Art, 6th in the points. She technically still has a chance to win the championship, but she's like a full race distance behind the points leader, Sarah Redmond, who, by the way, not only is the points leader, but is also the rookie points lead. As R.B. Gardner has gotten to the top of the timesheets, 27,254. It is 52 points between Sarah Redmond, right there, and her closest battle for the Rookie of the Year title. That would be Ponzo Albanese. So, if Sarah Redmond has a big lead, like a 70, if she has more than a 90-point lead on second in the Rookie of the Year standings, the Rookie of the Year title could be either wrapped up either this week or next week at Kansas, regardless what happens in the final race of the season. Because Sarah Redmond has more than a full race lead on the Rookie of the Year standing, so she could have the Rookie of the Year title wrapped up, which would mark DVR's third Rookie of the Year championship in a row. Ironically, with 3 different female drivers. That would be a first. Because Sarah Redmond, actually, funny, interesting story, before the beginning of the year, she didn't have a team owner, to be honest with you. And now she's a part of Daniel Voiles Racing at the last minute, so she would make history for good reasons, as there you look at Eric Alpha in the 27, currently 5th quickest, 27,406 for the 27 machine. Eric Alpha comes in this race 18th in the points, still looking for his first win of his career. So no matter what happens for Sarah Redmond this weekend, as we're looking at Zachary Fitzwater, who we don't know what his plans are for Season 5. It could be the last time we could see Zachary Fitzwater in the series. We don't know. We'll see. He's currently 10th quickest right now. But back to Sarah Redmond. No matter where she finishes in this race, she will keep the rookie points lead. The question is going to be, will she have the overall points lead? Because right now, theoretically, only 4 drivers can still win the championship. Theoretically. 7 can technically be in championship contention, but realistically, 4 can be in the title hunt. There's Campbell Marsh in the 64. Campbell Marsh, 39th quickest, as he's going with side by side with Eric Alpha. Campbell Marsh, 30th in the standings. He can't win the championship, unfortunately. Tough break for him. Looking to finish off what has been a struggling season for that 64 team. Banco Seaman. At the beginning of the season, we all thought he was going to win the Rookie of the Year title, but he hasn't been competitive. He's 22nd in the points table. He cannot win the championship. I mean, it's going to be a long shot. That was Jumiaka. I was trying to get to Annie Crenshaw, their game. Annie Crenshaw comes into this race. 23rd in the points, dropped 3 spots after last week's race at South Boston. We'll see what she'll do. She will more than likely be back in the 75 next year. Her team owner, Cody Smart, will not be back in the series next year. Matthew Hubert there, Dana Monroe, who will be back in the 01 next season. Emma Kaiser, it's looking very likely she will not be back in the series next season. Shyla Ascroft, we know, will be back in the series. 10th in the points for Shyla Ascroft, and we just also found out Shyla has been having pains. She's been slowly trying to recover from her hard accident at 8 Bowl. Of course, that was when she got launched in the air. That was probably going to be one of the wildest wrecks we've seen all year. There's Jonathan Wong. We'll see Jonathan Wong in the Oreo Cup Series coming up, as he will try to attempt to make it into every race this season. Alexander Underwood, the slowest in this session, is where he got about to approach the 5 minutes left in this session. And nobody has touched a 27.254 set by R.B. Gardner. Of course, John Smith IV started at the beginning of the year, got released after the Watkins Glen, or after Sonoma, excuse me. And this 7 teams only made 6 races since releasing John Smith IV. So this team's really been on a bit of a struggle fest. We've had 55 drivers start a Red Bull GT Series race. That's the most we've had in this series to date. I have a lot of new rookies for next season. Going to be really excited. I don't know how many races we're going to have for the Red Bull GT Series for Season 5. Of course, that's still in the works. Thought I heard scraping there for a second. Yes, I did. Annie Crenshaw just got up in the wall. Thought we had a wreck, but it was Crenshaw who just scraped the wall. There's the Season 2 champ, Addison Peterson, 22nd. Already a difficult year, but she'll be back in this 9 car next season. 33rd in the points. She's also right near the 35th in the standings cut line. Of course, Kyler Anderson's 87 points back. There's the defending series champion. I think he's about to be the soon-to-be outgoing champion. Back with R.B. Gardner, who is still the fastest in this session. We're going to have some pit strategy in this 49-lap race we're going to have here this afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So these drivers are going to have a nice little home cooking lunch. And then we'll get ready for this afternoon's third to last race of the season, where the Rookie of the Year championship could be possibly wrapped up. Keyword possibly. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. So looking like RB Gardner, which I'm going to have to see if this is the first pole of the year for the 7 bunch. And it looks like that is indeed the case. It will be the first pole of the year for the number 7, because John Smith IV did not have a pole, and he failed to qualify for one race. RB Gardner's failed to qualify has failed to qualify for several races ever since he replaced John Smith IV. But he will have a bragging right over John Smith IV, as it will be his first pole on the season. Eric Alpha qualifying, look like he's going to start 5th this afternoon. As we're down the final 30 seconds. We'll be keeping an eye on this lady here, Sarah Redmond. We'll see if Sarah Redmond can lock up the Rookie of the Year title, regardless what happens in the final 2 races of the season. And then we could see if she can pull off the unthinkable, like what we saw Addison Peterson do in Season 2 by winning the Drivers' Championship. Because Addison Peterson today is the only driver who won the Rookie of the Year title and the Drivers' Championship to date. As zeros on the clock, looks like the times have not changed. So this is what your starting grid will look like for this afternoon's race. It'll be a rookie front row, RB Gardner with his first career pole in the Red Bull GT Series, alongside Sarah Redmond, who could lock up the Rookie of the Year title today or next week, depending where she finishes. Andrew Williams, Sean Art, row 2, Eric Alpha, David Santi, row 3, Matthew Hubert, Reagan Whitlock, row 4, row 5, Josh Harmon, and Jonathan Wong. So good effort for those drivers, as my NR froze a little bit as I was trying to hit the pause button. She'll look through the rest of the qualifying results to see where you or your favorite driver is starting. And looks like a lot of big names going to be starting near the rear of the field. Alexander Underwood, 2nd in points, 42nd. Ugh. That's not good qualifying for him. Sean out-qualified Jesse by a landslide. No surprise there. And we'll see what happens. Pit strategy will play a factor in this afternoon's race. We'll have to see how that will happen in 49 laps time. Who is going to win this race? Will Sarah Redmond lock up Rookie of the Year title? Will RB Gardner turn that pole into a victory? You'll have to tune in to find out this afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So until then, thank you for watching qualifying. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the World Racing Association crew today. We've shown you your starting lineup for this afternoon's race. Until we see you at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Red Bull GT Series, third to last race of the season, I've been Dee DeVille signing off. You've been watching another broadcast courtesy of the World Racing Association, the greatest racing since 2013.